Every morning, Linda followed her routine. She'd take her medication, prepare a healthy breakfast, check her blood sugar. Some days it was okay, other days not so much. But what bothered her wasn't just the numbers, it was the way she felt. Tired, foggy, her legs cramped at night, her hands tingled during long walks, and deep down she wondered, why do I still feel unwell even when I'm doing everything right? What if the problem isn't your carbs, or your insulin, or even your diet? What if the missing piece is something no one ever talks about? Not sugar, not fat, but minerals. Tiny, quiet nutrients that quietly run the systems we depend on every day. In this video, we're going to explore the 3 most essential minerals that people over 50, especially those living with diabetes, are often missing, and how those silent deficiencies could be. Why your blood sugar swings for no reason. Why your sleep is restless. Why your energy disappears by 10 a.m. Or why your body just doesn't feel like home anymore. You'll learn what magnesium, zinc, and chromium actually do in your body. How to know if you're running low, even if your labs are normal. Which foods can gently restore your balance. And a 7-day plan to help you feel more clear, steady, and alive again. If you've ever said to yourself, I'm tired of just managing this, I want to feel well again, then this might be the quiet turning point your body has been waiting for. Let's begin with a truth most doctors forget to mention, and the story of how one missing mineral may be silently holding back everything else. Let's talk about what's really happening behind the blood sugar, and why it's not just about food or medication anymore. For years, diabetes care has revolved around 3 things: cutting carbs, taking medication, and checking blood sugar. And let's be honest, that's already a lot to manage. But what if it's not enough? Let me tell you about Mark. He's 58, he walks every morning, eats oatmeal instead of donuts, takes his metformin like clockwork. And yet every time he checks his blood sugar, it's still high. His doctor raises the dose. Again. One night over tea, Mark told me something that stuck with me. I feel like I'm fighting a battle, but no one gave me the right weapons. And that's exactly it. Many people with diabetes are doing everything they're told, but they're missing a hidden part of the equation. Not sugar, not carbs, minerals. We don't hear about them in commercials. They're rarely tested for in annual checkups. But these quiet nutrients are the backbone of how insulin works inside your body. They regulate energy, calm your nerves, protect your kidneys, keep your heart steady. And when they're low, everything becomes harder. Here, that's what most people don't realize. High blood sugar makes you lose minerals like magnesium, zinc, and chromium every time you urinate. The more you lose them, the harder it is for insulin to work. The harder insulin has to work, the higher your blood sugar climbs, and the cycle repeats, like trying to drive uphill in a car running low on oil. The engine keeps working, but it's wearing out faster. A small lesson here: you can't fix what you don't know is broken. Focusing only on food and meds is like watering a plant, but never giving it sunlight or soil. The roots suffer even if the surface looks fine. So in this video, we're going deeper, not just into blood sugar, but into the nutrients that quietly hold your body together. Let's start with the one that powers over 300 reactions inside your body, and the one most diabetics are losing every single day. Let's talk about magnesium. Let's go back to Linda for a moment. She had started noticing these little things. Her legs would cramp at night, sometimes so badly it woke her up. Her hands felt tingly when she held the steering wheel too long. And worst of all, even after 8 hours of sleep, she still felt like she hadn't rested. At first she thought, maybe it's just aging. But something didn't feel right. What she didn't know, and what many people don't, is that these are all signs of something deeper. Magnesium deficiency. Why magnesium matters so much, especially for diabetics. Magnesium is like your body's quiet mechanic. It helps over 300 biological reactions, from keeping your muscles relaxed to making sure your heart beats in rhythm, to powering your cells with ATP, your body's energy currency. But for people with diabetes, here's the catch. Every time your blood sugar is high, your kidneys work overtime to flush it out. And in the process, they flush out magnesium too. So even if you're eating well, even if you're doing your best, you may be running low without realizing it. A hidden vicious cycle. Here's where things get tricky and important. 1. High blood sugar causes magnesium loss. 2. Low magnesium makes your body more insulin resistant. 3. More insulin resistance equals higher blood sugar. 4. And the cycle continues. Linda was right in the middle of it, and no one had told her. Symptoms most people miss. Magnesium deficiency doesn't always show up in tests, but it shows up in you. Muscle cramps, especially in your legs or feet. Tingling, numbness, or nerve pain. Feeling drained, even after resting. Trouble sleeping or anxiety. Irregular heartbeat or chest fluttering. Most people think these are just signs of aging, but sometimes they're your body asking for help. What help looks like, the gentle way to rebuild. Once Linda learned about magnesium, she didn't rush to pills. She started with food. A handful of pumpkin seeds gave her 40% of her daily needs. She added spinach to her omelets, almonds to her snacks. Even a small piece of dark chocolate, guilt-free, helped her body and her spirit. Within 2 weeks, her sleep deepened. Her cramps faded. She didn't just feel better, she felt clearer. What if food isn't enough? If your levels are very low, supplements can help, but not all are created equal. Magnesium oxide is common, but hard to absorb and tough on the stomach. Magnesium glycinate or bisglycinate is gentle, well absorbed, and great for nerves and sleep. Linda chose magnesium glycinate 200 mg/day, and it made a world of difference. A small lesson here. Magnesium is one of those tools often forgotten, but quietly powerful. And the truth is, many people are already low, but they don't even know it. Because long before the real damage shows up, the body starts to whisper. Little signs, small clues. If you've ever felt off, tired, crampy, or restless, even when everything seems normal, then magnesium might already be slipping through the cracks. In the next part, let's take a closer look at those early warning signs and how to catch them before they become something bigger. Let me tell you about Frank. He's 67, a retired mailman with a quiet life and a big heart. One afternoon, he told me something that made me pause. I thought I was just getting old, but now I'm not so sure. He had started noticing little things. His calves would tighten after just a short walk. His fingers felt numb when he held a coffee mug. Sometimes his heart would skip a beat just for a second and then carry on. He didn't feel sick. He just didn't feel like himself anymore. The problem with normal symptoms. Here's what's tricky about magnesium deficiency. It doesn't shout. It whispers. The symptoms are so subtle, so ordinary that most people, including doctors, miss them. They sound like, maybe it's my shoes. Maybe I just didn't sleep well. Maybe I'm just stressed. But maybe it's magnesium. The top 7 hidden clues to watch for. 1. Leg cramps or muscle twitches, especially at night. 2. Tingling or pins and needles in your hands or feet. 3. Fatigue, even after a good night's sleep. 4. Anxiety, restlessness, or mood swings. 5. Trouble sleeping or staying asleep. 6. Irregular heartbeat or mild chest fluttering. 7. Sugar cravings, especially after meals. You don't need all of them. Sometimes just 1 or 2 is enough to raise a flag. A simple at-home checklist. Here's a quick way to start. Ask yourself, do I wake up tired even when I sleep 7-8 hours? Do I get muscle cramps or spasms, especially in my legs or feet? Do I feel more anxious or sensitive lately? Have I noticed more numbness, tingling, or nerve pain? Do I rely on caffeine, sugar, or salty snacks to push through the day? If you answered yes to 2 or more, it may be time to take a closer look at magnesium. Can you test magnesium levels? Yes, but with a caveat. Most routine blood tests check serum magnesium, which only measures about 1% of the magnesium in your body. For better insight, some experts recommend the magnesium RBC test, which looks inside your red blood cells where most magnesium is stored. But even without lab tests, your body speaks. You just need to listen. Frank's turning point. Frank decided to act. He didn't wait for a diagnosis. He started adding magnesium-rich foods, almonds, spinach, pumpkin seeds, and chose a gentle magnesium supplement his doctor approved. Within a few weeks, his sleep deepened, the cramps faded, and one day he said, "I didn't realize how off I felt until I finally felt better again." A quiet lesson here. When something feels off, you don't need to ignore it just because it seems normal. Aging doesn't have to mean discomfort, and sometimes it's not age, it's just imbalance. Now that we've uncovered magnesium's role and how to spot its warning signs early, it's time to explore another mineral that's just as crucial. One that helps your body heal, supports your immune system, and even fuels your hormones and energy. Let's take a closer look at zinc and why it matters more than most people realize. A few years ago, Margaret, a warm-hearted woman in her early 60s, shared with me something quietly painful. "I don't feel like me anymore," she said. "I've lost my appetite, my energy, even my desire for things I used to love." She had been brushing it off, blaming it on stress, age, or just being a woman of a certain age. But underneath the surface, something more was happening. What she was missing, zinc, not a glamorous mineral, not one you see on TV commercials, but one your body depends on every single day, especially if you have diabetes. Why zinc matters so much more than most people realize. Zinc is your body's multitasking assistant. It helps with wound healing, immune function, hormone production, especially testosterone and insulin, skin repair, nerve protection, taste, smell, and even libido. For people with diabetes, zinc becomes even more important and unfortunately more easily lost. Why diabetics lose zinc faster? Here's what happens. When blood sugar is high, your body tries to flush it out through urine, but zinc gets flushed out with it. Over time, chronic low-grade inflammation, very common in diabetes, uses up zinc faster too. And some medications, like diuretics or ACE inhibitors, can make it worse. So even if you're eating decently, you may still be running low. What low zinc feels like? For Margaret, it was subtle. Her skin was drier. Her hair was thinning. She had no drive emotionally or physically. Small scratches on her hands took weeks to heal. She didn't have a name for it. But her body did. Zinc deficiency. How she started to rebuild. Margaret didn't want to rely on pills if she didn't have to. So she started small. A few pumpkin seeds on her morning yogurt. Grass-fed beef once or twice a week. A handful of chickpeas roasted with olive oil and sea salt. And eventually, she added a gentle zinc glycinate supplement, 15 mg per day. Slowly, the spark came back. "I feel like I can laugh again," she said one morning, and I didn't realize how much I missed that. A gentle reminder. Sometimes we look for big answers to big problems, but healing often starts with something small and quiet. Like zinc, it may not sound exciting, but inside your body, it's doing everything it can to keep you steady, strong, and whole. So now you may be wondering, am I low on zinc too? Let's find out by looking at the most commonly overlooked symptoms, especially in people over 50. In the next section, I'll walk you through the hidden signs of zinc deficiency and how to catch them early before they quietly chip away at your health. Susan never thought much about her skin. She was 65, active, and still helped take care of her grandkids every weekend. But over the past few months, little things started to bother her. A paper cut on her thumb that took almost 3 weeks to heal. A strange rash near her elbow that wouldn't go away. And every time she brushed her hair, more strands in the sink than she cared to count. Her doctor said everything looked within range. But Susan didn't feel right. Small clues, big meaning. What Susan didn't know, and what many don't, is that these are classic signs of zinc deficiency. It's one of those silent losses that creeps in slowly and quietly chips away at your body's ability to repair, balance, and protect. Why zinc is so critical for healing and balance. Zinc is essential for wound healing. It helps build and repair tissues. Appetite and sugar control. It influences your sense of taste and insulin balance. Hair and skin health. Zinc supports collagen and follicle function. Immune defense, helping you fight off illness. Hormone production, especially testosterone and estrogen regulation. And when it's low, you may notice cuts or scrapes taking longer to heal. Increased sugar cravings, especially in the evening. Thinning hair or brittle nails. Changes in taste or smell. More frequent colds or infections. Dry, itchy, or rash-prone skin. Susan's turning point. One day, after nicking her hand while gardening, she watched the wound stay red and sore for over a week. That was her wake-up call. She began adding zinc-rich foods to her meals: lentil soup with pumpkin seeds, beef stew with chickpeas and spinach, and sometimes just a spoon of oyster pâté on toast, a surprising favorite. She also started taking a zinc picolinate supplement, gentle and easy to absorb. A few weeks later, the rashes faded. Her hair stopped falling in handfuls, and she found herself reaching for fruit, not cookies, after dinner. "It's like my body stopped shouting for help," she said, because it finally started getting what it needed. A quiet lesson. When your body starts whispering, listen. A craving isn't always about willpower. A slow healing wound isn't just bad luck. Sometimes it's your body asking for minerals that have quietly slipped away. And while zinc plays a powerful role in healing and hormones, there's another mineral that works even deeper. It doesn't just help insulin work better, it makes insulin work at all. It's one of the most overlooked players in diabetes care. And in the next part, we'll uncover the incredible story of chromium and why this forgotten mineral might be the key to balancing your blood sugar once and for all. Dan was 61 when he started feeling like something was off. Not terribly wrong, just off. He was eating right, avoiding sugar, taking his medication faithfully. But somehow his blood sugar still spiked after meals. "I'd check my numbers," he said, "and think, how is that even possible? I did everything right today." He was frustrated, confused, and like many others, he thought maybe it was just age or stress or genetics. But the real issue, Dan was missing a mineral no one had ever mentioned to him: chromium, the unsung hero of blood sugar control. Chromium isn't often talked about. You won't see it in ads or hear it at most doctor visits. But inside your body, it plays one of the most important roles in how insulin works. Think of insulin like a key. It wants to open the door to your cells and let sugar inside for energy. But without chromium, that key can't turn. Chromium is part of something called the glucose tolerance factor, GTF, a compound that helps insulin bind to cell receptors. No chromium equals weak signal. Weak signal equals sugar stays in the blood. Why people with diabetes lose chromium faster. The frustrating part, just like magnesium and zinc, High blood sugar flushes chromium out through urine. And when you're under stress, eating processed carbs or taking certain medications, you lose even more. To make matters worse, the body doesn't store much chromium. That means you need a steady supply every day. But for most people, it's quietly disappearing. Dan's turning point. One day, after another blood sugar spike he couldn't explain, Dan decided to try something new. He started with food. Broccoli with dinner, a single Brazil nut each morning, swapped his sweet snacks for a hard-boiled egg and a slice of lean beef. He also added a low-dose chromium picolinate supplement, just 200 mcg per day. And slowly something shifted. It didn't happen overnight, he said, but I stopped feeling that fog after meals. My cravings dropped, and my numbers finally started behaving. A small but powerful lesson. Sometimes the difference between frustration and progress isn't a new medication. It's an old mineral, one your body has been quietly asking for. Chromium doesn't get much attention. But for people with diabetes, it may be the missing key to unlocking more stable energy, steadier blood sugar, and better control. So now you may be wondering, how do I know if I'm low on chromium? That's exactly what we'll explore next. Because chromium deficiency hides behind symptoms that are easy to brush off, like fatigue, cravings, or brain fog. But if you know what to look for, you can catch the signs early and start turning things around. Let's look at the hidden symptoms of chromium deficiency and how to spot them before they spiral into something bigger. There's a certain kind of tired that coffee can't fix. Claire knew that feeling all too well. She was 64, retired, and had always taken good care of herself. But recently, her energy came and went like a light switch. Some mornings she felt clear and steady. Other times she was foggy, anxious, and craving something sweet even after eating, and her blood sugar all over the place. It felt like a roller coaster, she told me. I never knew if I was going to feel fine or crash. The missing link behind the swings. While many factors can affect blood sugar, one of the most overlooked causes of wild fluctuations is low chromium. Here, SY. Chromium helps insulin move sugar from your blood into your cells. Without enough chromium, insulin becomes weaker and blood sugar lingers in your bloodstream. The pancreas tries to help by making more insulin. But over time, this wears the system down and leads to greater insulin resistance. And that's when the swings begin. Sharp rises after meals. Sudden crashes 2 hours later. Cravings, fatigue, brain fog, and the cycle repeats. Symptoms that don't always seem connected. Claire thought she was just getting forgetful. Or maybe she wasn't eating enough protein. But what she really needed was chromium. Low chromium can cause blood sugar spikes and drops even when eating well. Sugar craving, especially for sweets or carbs. Irritability, anxiety or mood swings. Fatigue after meals. Brain fog or trouble focusing. Tingling in hands or feet if deficiency is more advanced. These symptoms can feel random, but they're not. They're your body's way of saying, I'm trying to use insulin, but something's missing. Claire's shift one step at a time. She didn't overhaul her life overnight. She simply began adding steamed broccoli to lunch, a Brazil nut with breakfast, an occasional lean steak with dinner, and a 200 mcg chromium picolinate supplement. Low, gentle, just enough. Within 2 weeks, her energy leveled out. The afternoon sugar crashes faded, and one day she told me, I didn't realize how much my blood sugar was messing with my mind, not just my body. A quiet reminder, blood sugar is more than numbers. It's about how you feel hour by hour, day by day. When it's steady, you're steady. And sometimes all it takes is giving your body the right support to find that balance again. But here's something just as important. Even if you're doing everything right, eating well, supplementing smart, certain everyday habits might still be robbing you of the minerals you need. And if you don't spot them early, they can quietly undo your progress. So in the next part, let's uncover the hidden food and lifestyle mistakes that drain magnesium, zinc, and chromium, and how to fix them gently, starting today. George loved his morning routine: coffee at 6, a toasted English muffin at 6:15, a quick read of the newspaper, and maybe, if he was feeling fancy, a glass of orange juice. He wasn't doing anything bad, really. He wasn't eating junk food or skipping meals. But despite all his efforts to eat better for his diabetes, he still felt off. "It's like I'm trying to fill a leaking bucket," he once said. "No matter how much I put in, I still end up low." The hidden habits that drain your minerals. What George didn't know was that some of his daily choices, though seemingly harmless, were quietly pulling minerals out of his system. And this is far more common than most people think. Let's break it down. 1. Refined carbs and sugar. When you eat foods high in refined sugar, like white bread, pastries, soda, it causes a spike in insulin. But insulin spikes tell your kidneys, flush it out. And with it, magnesium, zinc, and chromium go too. Even healthy-looking cereals, granola bars, or fruit juices can trigger this cycle if they're high in added sugars. George's orange juice, packed with natural sugar but missing the fiber to slow it down. Too much caffeine. Caffeine can block magnesium absorption in the gut. And in large amounts, especially from coffee, energy drinks, or sodas, it pushes your adrenal system to work harder, which leads to more zinc loss as well. George's morning coffee habit, not the problem itself, but the quantity and the timing before breakfast made a difference. 3. Alcohol. Even moderate alcohol intake can interfere with how your body absorbs and uses minerals. It depletes magnesium, disrupts zinc metabolism, and worsens insulin sensitivity. 4. High calcium supplements or dairy overload. Calcium and magnesium compete for absorption. So if you're taking calcium-heavy supplements without balancing them with magnesium, you may be unintentionally crowding it out. The same goes for excess dairy, especially when it replaces mineral-rich whole foods. 5. Unsoaked grains and legumes. Whole grains and beans are healthy, but they contain something called phytates, which can block zinc and magnesium absorption. Soaking or sprouting these foods can reduce this effect significantly. But many people don't do that, and George certainly didn't. "I've eaten oatmeal all my life," he said. "I just didn't know I could be doing it better." A gentle wake-up call. The truth is, sometimes it's not about adding more. It's about removing what gets in the way. If you feel like you're doing the right things but not seeing results, maybe it's time to look not at what you're missing, but at what's silently stealing your progress. And now, here's the good news. You don't need fancy supplements or expensive superfoods to turn things around. Just a few smart, thoughtful swaps in your meals, and you can start refilling your body with the minerals it's been craving. In the next part, I'll show you exactly how to do that with simple, delicious, mineral-rich meals that fit your life and support your healing. Let's walk through some smart food swaps that make all the difference. Eleanor had a simple goal. "I don't want to count every gram. I just want to feel better without giving up all the foods I love." She wasn't asking for miracles. She just wanted her joints to hurt less, her mind to feel clearer, and for once to go through a whole week without needing a nap by noon. So instead of overhauling everything, she started small, with one food swap at a time. Why food swaps work so well, especially over 50. As we age, our digestive system changes. We absorb minerals less efficiently, and we're often taking medications that can interfere with nutrient uptake. That's why food matters so much more now. The good news: you don't need to follow extreme diets. You just need to be a little smarter with your choices and let food become your gentle medicine. Let's make this practical, smart, simple swaps. 1. Instead of white toast, right arrow try sprouted grain toast with almond butter. More magnesium and zinc. Better blood sugar balance. Longer-lasting energy. 2. Instead of orange juice, right arrow try water with a slice of orange and Brazil nuts on the side. Less sugar spike. Adds chromium and selenium. Keeps hydration and minerals in balance. 3. Instead of breakfast cereal, right arrow try steel cut, oats soaked overnight with pumpkin seeds and cinnamon. Soaking reduces phytates, which block mineral absorption. Pumpkin seeds are packed with magnesium and zinc. Cinnamon helps with blood sugar. 4. Instead of croutons on salad, right arrow, add roasted chickpeas or sunflower seeds. More fiber, crunch, and minerals. Plant-based zinc and magnesium. 5. Instead of steak every night, right arrow alternate with grilled salmon or lamb with leafy greens. Boosts magnesium and chromium. Supports insulin sensitivity. Gives your gut and heart some love. Alina's favorite discovery. A simple dish she now makes twice a week. Sautéed spinach with garlic and olive oil, topped with roasted pumpkin seeds and a soft-boiled egg. Warm, satisfying, mineral-rich, and it takes less than 10 minutes. I didn't realize food could feel so comforting and healing at the same time, she said with a smile. A gentle reminder: eating well doesn't have to feel like punishment. When you choose foods that love you back, your body responds in kind with steadier energy, better moods, and quiet signs of healing. And the best part: you don't have to do it all at once. Just one small, nourishing change at a time. Now that you know which foods can help refill your body with the minerals it needs, you might be wondering, where do I start? In the final part of this guide, I'll walk you through a simple 7-day mineral-boosting plan, gentle, doable, and designed especially for adults over 50. No counting, no stressing, just small steps that build real change. Let's take this 1 week at a time. By the time we met, Thomas had tried everything: keto, low-fat, intermittent fasting. He even tried going vegan for a month until he missed his Sunday morning eggs too much. I was so focused on what to remove, he said, that I forgot to ask, what do I need to restore? That's the spirit behind this 7-day plan. No extremes, no guilt. Just one gentle shift each day to help your body refill its mineral stores and feel more steady, energized, and supported. Your 7-day mineral boosting routine. Day 1, awareness and reset. Observe your habits. Track your caffeine, sugar, and processed foods, not to judge but to notice. Start your morning with water plus a pinch of sea salt or a slice of orange. Mindset. Today, I listen to what my body is asking for. Day 2, add 1 magnesium-rich food. Try cooked spinach, almonds, pumpkin seeds, avocado, or dark chocolate. Simple dish idea: spinach and egg scramble with sliced avocado. Mindset: nourishment doesn't have to be complicated. Day 3, zinc boost. Add beef, chickpeas, lentils, pumpkin seeds, or seafood like oysters or sardines. Sprinkle roasted chickpeas on your salad or try a lentil stew. Mindset: I deserve to heal 1 bite at a time. Day 4, chromium support. Include broccoli, Brazil nuts, whole eggs, grape tomatoes, lean beef. Side dish idea: broccoli roasted with garlic and olive oil. Mindset: I choose foods that work with me, not against me. Day 5, remove what drains you. Cut back just a little. 1 less cup of coffee, no soda today, skip the white bread. Soak your oats or legumes overnight to reduce mineral blockers, phytates. Mindset: I'm not restricting, I'm protecting. Day 6, gentle supplement support. Optional, add magnesium glycinate 200 mg, zinc picolinate 1530 mg, or chromium picolinate 200 mcg. Always check with your doctor, especially if on medications. Mindset, I'm giving my body a helping hand. Day 7, reflect and feel. Ask, how do I feel? What changed in energy, mood, sleep, cravings? Celebrate even the smallest shifts. Mindset, healing doesn't happen overnight, but it begins somewhere. Thomas's takeaway, after a week of gentle changes, he felt clearer, more stable, less reactive. And most importantly, he realized he could trust his body again. It's not about being perfect, he smiled. It's about giving your body the ingredients it needs to try again. Diabetes management isn't just about numbers. It's about function, energy, and quality of life. And sometimes the answer isn't adding more meds or cutting more foods. It's simply restoring the quiet building blocks that make everything else work. Magnesium, zinc, chromium, they don't shout, but your body hears them loud and clear. So if you followed this journey to the end, thank you, your health matters, your energy matters. And it's never too late to begin again, with knowledge, with kindness, and with food that truly nourishes. If this guide helped you, I invite you to share it with someone you care about. Leave a comment below, tell us what change you're starting today. And if you're ready for more simple, science-backed steps toward better health over 50, subscribe, stay with us. Your next chapter is just getting started.